party time. Party time. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Lisa. And 1 year ago, exactly a year ago, we did this live together. I had no clue what I was doing. Remember this? I think I was the first guest speaker last year. And I, when you are stressed, you lose everything. And I said, I'm sorry, Lisa, I supposed to host. Because I didn't know what I was doing. Lisa, you do it.
Oh, it's been so amazing connecting with you over the last year. And yeah, I know it's crazy during bundle time, and tech is crazy. I mean, you and I just had issues with the tech. It's like it happened, so you just got to roll with it and see
Yes,
how it goes.
I just want to say thank you so much, Lisa. You are such an amazing role model in this community. And although I have not met you face to face, I cannot wait one day we meet face to face and being able to hug you. You deserve the very best in this. I'm just getting chill. You're just, there's no words for you, Lisa. Uh, you have such wonderful reputation in this community. I really think that there's AI running behind you because and I always say either there's 100 copy of Lisa out there or AI models like thousands, copy version. But I just cannot say how grateful I am to get to know you and to be able to participate again this year in this bundle. It's just, it's nerve wracking, but it's so exciting. So let's talk about this is part of our healthy marriage podcast, right? That we do every year. I'm so grateful for that as well. But oh my God, I want to show your contribution, right? Pose, please. Okay, can you share why you came up with this name, Pose, please?
Yeah, so it was one night, at night when I'm trying to fall asleep, it takes like a half hour for me to fall asleep because I've got like a million things going on in my brain. But
Creativity.
I'm laying there and I'm thinking about, I didn't have the idea to make the book at the time, so like I didn't have, even an idea to do a perimenopause book at all. I
Oh,
was just laying in bed one night and I was like, I should write a book on perimenopause. Like it just came to me instantly. I was like, okay, I need to do this because I had been doing a lot of research. Obviously, I'm in the middle of it. So a lot of people ask me, so many people ask me about perimenopause and raw food. How does raw help with it? What
hmm.
can we do? And a lot of people don't know a lot about perimenopause. I mean, I didn't know a lot about it until just like a year ago. I knew it existed, but I didn't understand it fully. So I started doing a lot of research and I uncovered so many new things. Like I had no idea about the fact that bile is what carries a lot of the excess estrogen out of the body. And if we're not, if we don't have our livers functioning properly, if we don't have our bile functioning properly, that gets backed up. And then that estrogen gets reactivated by our estrobolome, our estrogen bacteria. And then that recirculates in the body. And that's one of the causes of the hot flashes, the night sweats, the breast tenderness, like a lot of the symptoms that people have during perimenopause is it traces back to this bile that's not being released from the body. And if we look at, most people out there, they're not eating enough fiber. They're eating like 12 grams of fiber a day. So they're not having those, okay, not occasional bowel movements, but they're having like daily movements multiple times a day, and they're able to pull a lot of that bile out so the liver can make new bile, and that bile binds to the toxins and the extra estrogen and the cholesterol, and then you want to pull that out. It's like a beautiful cycle. but if we don't have enough fiber in our diet, and that's where I learned about, the importance of psyllium for it soaks up that bile like a sponge and it can pull it
Mm.
out of the body. So very, very interesting stuff. And when I was laying in bed, I was like, menopause or perimenopause, and then I just thought of the word pause because a lot of people do use the word pause, and I was like, pause please, like let's just pause for a moment and
Yeah.
research this and learn about it. And yeah, so the pause button, I was like, that's perfect. So I wanted to have the pause button, and I made it into a fruity, vegetable-y pause button. And I love the cover. It's my favorite of all my ebooks.
It is gorgeous. Every time I see your new book coming, I'm always in awe. It's like, wow, that's so beautiful. And it's just, I'm thinking like, how could it get better? And oh my God, this is so beautiful. And it doesn't stop here. I had a hard time. I've downloaded all the um, bundle books on my tablet. And yesterday I was doing one of your recipe, which was the pancake recipe, right? That was so much fun because when I created it, the butter itself really reminds me of the pancake that, back then with the
Aw.
wheat, and that really reminded me because I've done the banana pancake before, but the butter wasn't as thick. So that
Mhm.
was fun. So the recipe section is towards the end of the book, and I started reading the book and it's so beautiful. Oh my god, it's like every page is so just to show you the contents, table of contents,
Aw.
right? I just it just really touches something deep in, the women's the I don't know, it's just I don't know. There's like a women's needs met here, just in this design. You're very very visual person. I'm also a very visual person, and I really appreciate like the font is so beautiful. Like everything is beautiful, but not just the beauty side, but content is very interesting. It was very very I resonated so much, and it really connects to what I wrote in Namadō 2 book, the brand new book that I shared in I contributed to the bundle. And so anyway, I was doing the one of your recipe, and I wanted to it, show the cover, but it's so many pages. I was just scrolling back. I was like, when do I get to there's so many
But
pages.
did you know that you can actually tap on the recipe name and it'll take you to the page?
Right, right. Yes, but I am live with you, so that site wasn't working.
Oh, I love you so much. I know, and that's why I did that, because there's 500 pages. So in Canva, I make my ebooks in Canva for those who are interested. I get that asked a lot. They're like, where do you make your ebooks? I use canva.com. It's a really great program to make ebooks and digital design and stuff like that. So I used to, when I first used Canva in 2021, it was maximum 100 pages. You couldn't do more than that.
Oh,
And then a few years later, they increased it to 300 pages. And I was like, yeah, let's make some big books, right? And I just found out when I was making this Pause Please book, I was getting close to 300 pages. And I'm like, how am I going to get all this information in here? I'm going to have to make the font small because I can't get it all in. So
ah,
I
that
started
was the
adding pages.
difference.
Yeah, I started adding pages and it was going up, and I was like, how many can I add? So I tried adding as many as I could, and it got to 500. So I was like, okay, I've got a lot of breathing room here. But I was adding a lot of information, and the reason why the font, I believe the font is at 12 or 14, I think, because I would like to put it into print one of these days. So I don't want to have the font too small because it doesn't transfer onto print very well. So I had to
Mm.
do that, but it made the book bigger because there's like But it's a regular font, so a font size typical for print versions. So it's not too
Yeah.
big and it's not too small. Yeah.
I think that space made a huge difference because it just made it a lot more easier to read.
Mhm,
So yeah, so we have a very limited time, but I wanted to ask you a few questions. So one of the
mhm,
first pages I was thinking, so for the menopause, there's certain symptom that comes up, and I don't know. For me, I am in perimenopause, just like you are as well, and there are certain symptoms. It's something we don't talk about, especially here in Japan. People are
mhm.
very they don't like to talk about anything menopause or any sexual life in their marriage. And symptoms are difficult to tell if it's really related to perimenopause, right? And then some of the things you mentioned is the itch in your ear. What is that about?
I know, right? I know. When I heard about that, I was like, that's legit. Because sometimes you're just like, what is that itchiness? What a lot of most people don't realize is that every single cell in the human body, in a female's body, has estrogen receptors. And when we start to lose our estrogen, and like it takes a whole decade, nature gave us an entire decade, and that's perimenopause, to get used to the lower levels of estrogen. So it's an adjustment period, and it's just our ears kind of adjusting to a lower level of estrogen. And it's one of the symptoms to let you know that you are in perimenopause. And the thing is, like, a lot of people, certain symptoms aren't necessarily like, they don't interfere with your life really. Like, there are some, obviously, like sleep disturbances. You only get like 2 or 3 hours of sleep at night, that's going to affect your job.
Mm,
When we lose bone density and muscle mass and all of that, that's going to affect our elder years. But there's some little ones, like the itchy ear. I don't really necessarily consider that to be like a detrimental symptom, but it's a symptom, and it shows us that we are
mhm.
going through a shift, and to
But
recognize it.
I'm sorry, the itchiness is it's not the kind of itchiness that you clean up your ears and it goes away. It's like in between the
Yeah, it's
ears.
like inside. And it's almost like you're like, you just can't get it, but it's a really
Wow.
interesting feeling. And some women get it and some women don't. And that's the cool thing about perimenopause, is that every woman is going to experience it completely differently than another
Mm,
woman. And it really depends on the state of your microbiome, your past diet, your current diet, your activity level, your genetics. Because a lot
mm,
of times, what your mother went through is a lot likely what you'll go through as well.
mm.
So there's that comes into play. But it's an interesting time of year for sure. And I'm going to be 47 in December, so I know that I'm in it, because the average age of actual menopause is around 51 to 52. And
Mm,
I heard there was a really cool reel that I follow quite a few like perimenopause menopause accounts, because I'm just so fascinated with this transition. I'm going through it, so like, why not be fascinated with what you're going through? um
mm.
and there was one woman who said, she's like, we need to have a menopause day, because menopause is actually one day. Because you've got your menopause, and you've got your perimenopause, and you have your postmenopause. So it's menopause is actually just one day. It's the day that you haven't had a period for 12 consecutive months. So if you had your last period on September 3rd, and you go an entire year without a period again on September 3rd, that's your menopause birthday. Like, that's the day
Oh, I
that
thought
you're,
it was a year after, but it's just
well,
one day.
yeah, it's the day 1 year after your last period started.
And wow, that's okay. We
Isn't
should
that cool?
celebrate. It's like a yeah, we should celebrate that day.
I agree. I think every single woman who gets to go through that on the 1 year anniversary of your last period, that's your menopause birthday. And now you are in postmenopause after that.
Interesting.
I know. I
Wow.
when I saw that, I was like, that's a really cool way of looking at it because then you have a birthday for the new phase of the rest of your life, right?
True. True.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. And I love it that we can share this information because my mom, she used to say that she never had any symptom of menopause, like no negative side of menopause, but that itch in your ear, between your ears, that's something like like you don't pay much attention to. So
Mhm.
she might have some of it, but she was very strong and she was working all the time. And
Mhm.
she has passed away, so I can't talk more in details. But being able to share this in the community where we feel safe, that's priceless.
It really is, and we need more community of women, and that's why I love how Sky does the women's health podcast and how you and I do the Healthy Marriages podcast. Like, it's so important for us to talk about this and have other women join in and feel not alone. Because as women in general, we are gaslit. We are
Mm,
gaslit hardcore on any symptom that we have. And it's like you're either told you're crazy or this is just
yeah.
normal, like deal with it. And then like people like your mother who say they didn't have any symptoms, I was thinking a lot of women don't necessarily feel they have symptoms because they don't know what it feels like to be healthy and then
Mm,
to have a symptom because they're just living their life already tired and already
yeah.
exhausted and already not able to sleep and they're already experiencing all these things that when they have perimenopause symptoms sometimes they're just like, oh, that's just normal life, so they may not really notice it. So yeah, and perimenopause can start as early as your mid 30s. So
Yeah.
some women go through actual menopause in their mid 40s, but like I said, the average age is 51 to 52, but it depends on the country because different countries have a different age range. But I would say
Mm,
around 51 is a good ballpark average. But some women are going to go through it earlier. And some women, they're going through perimenopause in their early 30s and it's just like, and or Sky, if you've had a
mm,
hysterectomy, you're automatically in menopause. And I saw a really sad post. I can't remember what country it was, but women who are working the fields with the men, they can't afford to take sick days for their periods. So they have hysterectomies and they're immediately like in their 20s and 30s, and they're immediately in menopause, which can cause, lower bone density, lower muscle mass. And, they're young women, but they're doing this because they just can't even afford to take sick days. So it's just really sad to see, how our bodies are just used as commodities a lot of the time, and we have to
mm,
morph into what society wants out of us. And
mm.
during this phase of life, we need to start slowing down, and it's really hard. I know like you said, I'm like, there's like 100 of me, and I'm like, I need 99 of them to retire. But it's like, it's really hard.
Yeah, I
Mm.
really appreciate all you do, but after all, you are a human being, and yeah, please pause. Pause is the message
Pause,
for you,
please.
for you.
Pause, please.
Pause, please. Yes.
Yep.
And again, the contents, I haven't gone through all the whole book because that's 500 pages, it's a
Totally
lot to go.
understandable. Yes.
So I'm
Uh,
so, this is one of the greatest thing about the bundle. It's because when you purchase it, right? A lot of people when they buy the book, they don't read it. But
mhm.
what we do throughout the year is I keep on sharing the videos or YouTube demo on the recipe from the bundle throughout the year so that you don't forget it. Oh yeah, that's true that Lisa had this recipe, so let me dig in, right? So we are in the community to keep on sharing. And
Mhm.
yesterday I shared this is the pancake that
Oh,
and that's my
I
favorite,
love it. You
right?
made
It's
yes, I love I'm gonna have to go look at. I haven't even really been able to look at much,
I
but
I will tag it. It was yesterday.
yeah,
I didn't
tag
tag
me.
it. I will tag it, and it was so much fun, to do this recipe. And thank you so much for all your creations. Um, and I'm
Welcome.
wondering, like, I know you have a lot on your plate, right? And you are a super creative artist. Do you do you sometimes feel like you need to do things?
Yeah, that's a good question. Because Nate's always like, I want you to just paint, or like, take some time off or whatever. And I'm like, but I would get antsy and I would want to like make another book because to me, it's part of my passion. It's who I am and it's where I find my most joy. And another thing too is, one of the pillars of longevity is following your passion.
Mm,
Ikigai, right? It's like following your path and having something to live for. And
yeah.
that's my thing. I'm like, I would do it on my time off. Like, it's like, that's just who
The-
I am. Like, when we take time, we have a hot tub on the roof of our building. So sometimes we'll go up there and we'll just lay on a bed for like 20 minutes or 40 minutes or whatever and
mm.
just enjoy. But while I'm laying on my stomach, I'm looking up recipes. I'm like, how could I make that raw?
Yeah, it's never ending. Like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, this creative. Yeah, me too. I'm always thinking, well, how can I do it? How can I make it more fun and reachable, more so that it resonate with everyone, right? I have a
Mhm.
pop-up cafe here in Kyoto, and it's funny because people who come are from far. I've got people following me on Instagram from US coming and reserving like 4 or 5 months in advance, but
Wow.
locals don't get it. Locals,
Yeah.
no local would come. But yeah, I
Mhm.
love connecting. But I wanted to also mention JJ and Kuala Mama. Thank you so much for your comments. And
Mhm.
Kuala Mama said that when you look up symptoms, it's always hot flashes, right? Yeah, that's what seems to be like the only symptom, but that's not
Mhm.
it.
No, so there's a woman who's really kind of leading a lot of the perimenopause talk, Dr. Mary Claire Haver. And she's got a lot of really interesting information. Obviously, don't agree with the diet because I'm vegan,
Mm,
but at the same time, she does share a lot about perimenopause in general. And there
mm.
are I think she's accounted for over 60 different symptoms that have been
Wow.
associated with perimenopause. And the reason being, like even vision, your vision changing, your hair changing, your skin changes,
Mm,
like there's so many things like koala mama says low sodium, depression, zero energy, like lethargy, your gut changes, like everything changes in a woman's body.
mm,
And we, like I said, we women are gaslit. We're told that, oh no, that's not perimenopause, you're not in, and then our symptoms are brushed aside because we're
mm,
not having the classic symptoms. So then we don't get treatment or we don't change our diets, we don't change our lifestyle, and things get worse. We have other symptoms, newer symptoms. And yeah, there are so many symptoms that are associated with the decline in estrogen because every cell in our body has receptors for it. So
yeah.
it's a very protective hormone.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
it makes sense to talk about it more because when we were getting period for the first time in teenager, like our hormone is going crazy, right? And that's a difficult time. And
Mhm.
it's quite obvious that that is more easily talk about than
Mhm.
perimenopause symptoms. A lot of girls, they have pimples, they start having pimples during that time, and that's because of the hormonal cycle changing, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, it's like, I don't know, it's beautiful now. I think we
Mhm.
hear more and more online, especially
Mhm.
from the US. They talk about it openly, like people who are in mainstream, celebrities, they talk about it.
Mhm.
And then
Yeah.
vegan. Mhm.
Oh,
Sorry.
I was gonna say, something that came to mind too is like, the patriarchy and, how women are not as equal. Like we've gained a lot of equality in some ways, but, everything is still kind of in the dark ages. Like they haven't mapped like female anatomy until like 1998. Like, like it's, come on, like let's get with the times. So
Mm,
women have always been fairly suppressed in the medical
Mm,
literature. Like studies are mostly done on men. So, you got intermittent fasting and you have like hit workouts and calories in, calories out. And it's like that kind of stuff. It doesn't work for women in perimenopause all the time,
mm,
most of the time, because our bodies need something different. We need less stress, less cortisol, less pushing, that kind of
mm,
thing. And it's very different. And what happens is like, again, we are gaslit. Like women, young girls who go through puberty, because they're now fertile, they're now a commodity, right? It's not as a taboo, so to speak. It's more like, oh, now you can have babies and have sex and everything, right? But when you're in perimenopause and menopause, that's when a woman becomes, according to society, unviable. Like we have no purpose anymore. So
yeah.
it's less discussed because it's not part of the patriarchy's view of what women should be. Like we should all look like we're 25 for the rest of our life. We have to
Mm,
always have a special perfect body. We have to always be able to have kids. And, when it comes to perimenopause and menopause, that's when a woman expires according to society. But nature knew best. And nature, I believe that I added this into the Pause Please book. There's a theory that nature has us going through menopause because the wisdom of the woman in her elder years, from
mm,
her lived experience, the wisdom in her elder years is worth more to humanity than another pregnancy. Because
mm,
risking another pregnancy in our elder years is very dangerous. So nature protects the wisdom
ah,
of the woman by saying, we're going to go through perimenopause and menopause. So we stop the potential to risk another pregnancy and we're going to preserve the knowledge that you've gained over your entire life. And you can now be a matriarch and you can teach the children, you can teach, you can heal, you can share and be the
mm,
matriarch in the community. But we need to value older women in postmenopause because they have so much lived life experience, and nature
mm.
knows best. Like there's a reason why we go through it, and denying that it actually happens is doing, the human race a disservice, because we
That's
have
true.
so much that we can share. But women aren't very valued in society these days. So
I think, yeah, I think it's because I believe it started because women were so powerful
Mhm.
that
Mhm.
we were suppressed, right? That we
Mhm.
had so much power giving birth and the knowledge, and
Mhm.
I think that's why we've been suppressed. But
Mhm.
anyone who is going through, or anyone, this book, Pose Please, by brand new book by Lissa. This, I mean, again, so beautiful,
Mhm.
every part of it, and I'm really excited to go into what you have mentioned, because again, I have to, you know I will be so happy to read this before going to sleep, or
Mhm.
and it this definitely is great for any woman at any
Mhm.
age. it
Yes.
could be for it could be preparation, or could it be a gift for your daughter or mother. It's
Mhm.
so beautiful, not just the
Oh,
content, but it's just design. Again, as well, someone who is very visual, I
mhm.
really appreciate the effort that you put into for making this book so beautiful everywhere.
Oh, thank you so much. I know there are some things that I want to add to make it extra pretty, but I just didn't have any time before the bundle. So I'm gonna do updates, and I'll let you know when I have an update. So yeah, I'll give you a copy.
Wow.
Well, what I want to do is I want to have like kind of like really light flowers and leaves in the background on certain pages, just as a
Ah.
little extra embellishment. And I wanted to do it again. Like I said, I had no time. I have like no time to do anything.
I
So,
mean, you're definitely overachiever, but you've got like design like this everywhere and everywhere. It's just, I think it's something, living in this life that we have, women. I'm 51 now, and we have so many responsibility. I don't have any kids, but I have so many,
mhm.
we have so much going
Yeah.
on in our life. And when I read this, it's like, oh, it just softens me. It's
Oh,
like, oh yes, I forgot about it.
Right? Oh, I'm so glad that you love that book so much. And yeah,
Yeah.
I love that you said that it's good for any woman because a lot of the ingredients that I talk about, so there's 36 recipes in this ebook, and they're specific recipes that highlight special ingredients like fenugreek sprouts, Irish moss, onions. For the sulfur for collagen, like you want to have nice skin, get the sulfur in. Sulfur is considered the beauty mineral, so onions and cruciferous are very high in sulfur. So adding those in, those actually also help support phase two liver detox. So if we're talking about the bile, getting that bile out of the system, it's really important to include these foods. And these foods are good for any stage of life, really. I mean, fenugreek sprouts are great for supporting hormones. Maca powder is like maca root powder is really good for helping to balance and stabilize hormones in general for both men and women. So, like just because the recipes are there for perimenopause doesn't mean that women in postmenopause or younger women can't have those recipes too, because they're all just really supportive for the body. But the reason they're so supportive for perimenopause is because they actually facilitate the detox pathways and the collagen building and stuff like that that we
Mm.
really need to focus on during this phase.
You are definitely a great reminder every time. Fenugreek. I
Mhm.
started to soak some of the beans as well,
Mhm.
like garbanzo beans, chickpeas,
Mhm. Mhm.
and some other green beans, and I forgot about it for some time. But you are definitely a great reminder. For the maca powder, like I want to have it every day, and I started to include it in my green smoothies.
Mm.
But how do you do it? Because I know you have you have a recipe of maca powder,
Mhm.
but how do you make sure that you eat maca powder every day?
So I don't do it every day. I
Mm.
wish I could, because a lot of times, like for example, this is was my morning smoothie. It was the cranberry craze from Nate's new ebook, Raw Recovery.
Nice.
Yeah,
Oh.
and that we do a lot of fruity smoothies in the morning, so it's
Hmm.
not always the best pairing with maca. I mean, you can still put it in there, and we don't even really notice it, but we forget to put it in often. But we usually put it in when we do the chocolate smoothies, like
Mm.
the cacao banana date, and we have
Yeah.
a adaptogen cacao um bliss maca smoothie in the Pause Please ebook that women can make, and it helps. You can add ashwagandha for those who tolerate ashwagandha really well. I do. I love ashwagandha. Adding that every day. It's just a ground up root, so it's considered raw. Like a lot of people fear herbs for some reason on a raw diet.
Mm.
They're like, no, I can't add anything to my raw diet because it has to be all about the food. And it's like, well, no, the food only goes so far, right? Like we need to
Mm.
have other things like sleep, right? If it was all about the food, we wouldn't need sleep and we wouldn't need exercise, but we need these things. And sometimes in certain stages of life, you need herbs. Herbs they're raw, they're great, and they help, right? So adding those in. But really, it's about remembering. We try to have the bag by the blender. So it's like right there when we see it. Like we have our natto. I talk about natto in the ebook as well because vitamin K2 is very important in bone building. And as a matter of fact, I just did a live earlier today with Dr. Doug Graham,
That
and
was
ooh,
amazing. I've listened to that. I'm gonna go back and listen to that again. That was amazing.
yeah, it was a good one. I was like, this is awesome. But he was like, he's so appreciative that and you too, right? That we're trying to bring awareness to such an important piece of the puzzle. Like when he was saying the range between like it was -5 to 50, like that's a huge range for bone density. And most people are sitting around the one out of 50. Like we've got a long way to go, and most people are doing the things that are causing bone loss and not as many bone building things. So I talk about natto, and what we do is we have our freeze dried natto powder in a little jar right beside our blender, so it's there. It reminds us. It's like, oh, okay, you could even put it in front of the button so you can't even turn it on unless you move the jar, and you're like, oh yeah, here's the jar, right?
Yeah, that's another good reminder for me. I just purchased it on Amazon freeze dry because I've done dry version and I do eat natto time to time, but you're always a good reminder. So
Yeah, get it in. Because the thing is, another thing I talk about in the Pause Please book is that it's all about consistency. And I talk about this with saffron. So I have a whole chapter talking about saffron And saffron is an amazing depression support. So Koala Mama, I know she mentioned depression was one of them. If anyone has depression or sadness, saffron water is so amazing. Like it's just a couple strands of saffron in warm water. It doesn't have to be hot water, just warm water, let it steep for like 10 minutes and drink that. But it's about being consistent. Like you can do
Right.
saffron water once a month and it's great, but you're not going to get the benefit unless you're consistent. Just like with your sleep, just with your exercise, just like with raw food. You have to be consistent with it if you want to
True.
see the results. It's
You,
not about doing it once in a while cuz you're just not going to get the results.
my neighbor actually has saffron flower, and
Wow.
one day I saw it. I was like, "What is this gorgeous flower?" And it was saffron. So
Mhm.
she gave me some flowers, and I tasted it. And she tried to give me the whole one, but it was just maybe this year, no, around November, it would
Mhm.
blossom around the same
Oh.
time as our birthdays. Yes, it's
Nice.
beautiful. Yeah, so it's easy to buy. Saffron is expensive, but it's easy to
Mhm.
buy anywhere, and you don't need
Mhm.
that much, right?
No, yeah, it's like 5 like 3 to 5 strands, like just little it's like a a mini pinch, right? So you don't need a lot. And yes, it's expensive, but so are depression meds and so is feeling depressed. Like, it's worth it to yourself to do that.
Yeah.
And it's worth it to be consistent. Like Koala Mama says, I use saffron in my tea, but I'm not consistent at all. It's all about the consistency. That's where the
Mm,
magic is. The magic is
mm.
always in you want to learn a language, you got to be consistent. You want to learn an instrument, you got to be consistent. You want to have these herbs and the exercise you're doing and the sleep you're working on, you want to get the benefits, you got to be consistent with it.
And how do you be consistent is to purchase the ultimate raw vegan bundle.
Mhm.
Last year I really thought that this is enough. This is enough for the lifetime last year. And then I look at it this year, I was like, no, this is like $50 is so
Mhm.
cheap
It
for
is.
so cheap. I mean, I value every dollar, but
Mhm.
so cheap for what you get.
Mhm.
And why is this so important? We are bombarded with information, but when we do this raw vegan bundle for once a year, by the way, happy fifth anniversary, Lisa. Thank you so much
Oh.
for doing this. Yeah, we have to have another party. We'll continue doing this party, raw vegan
Mhm.
bundle. But I want to say how important it is to be consistent, but I
Mhm.
get, you remind me, Sky reminds me, in this community
Mhm.
we are always reminding ourselves, oh, fenugreek, which is great, saffron is great for, antidepressant. It's not a med that works. There's a nature help us,
Mhm.
naturally becoming more balanced, right? And
Mhm.
I do think the consistent comes for me from the community.
Yes, I agree totally. And that is a huge reason why Chris and all of us create the bundle every year is because number one, we're always learning new things and we always have new stuff to share and science is always advancing. So it's like we have new things, to tell everybody and we have new recipes that we play with throughout the year and it's all new content. Like you said, getting inspired is a big part of the
Mm,
results. You
mm,
want to stay consistent, so get inspired by people. Go grab the bundle, again $50. And Dr. Doug Graham and Chris Kendall, they have their 17-hour masterclass in there about the 80-10-10 diet. 17 hours. Doug said that they filmed 24 hours worth and they whittled it down to 17. And he's like, it was all like it's all important. It's all
yeah,
important information. And they're gonna sell that course for $747 after the bundle is over. But you get access when you buy the bundle for $50. Like it's just the most amazing deal ever.
I respect him fully before this interview, but this morning when I listened to your interview with him, I have another level of respect for him. Is it in your Instagram? The live is still in your
Yeah.
Instagram or YouTube? Yeah.
I'm
That's
gonna
great.
upload it to YouTube as well,
Excellent.
later tonight after all my lives, because I've got so many more. I've got 3 more coming. I'm gonna be doing in about a half an hour actually. So I have to get ready. But I'm gonna be making my creamy dill pickle dressing in live on my Instagram. So that's happening in a half an hour or so. And then at 6 o'clock, I'm going live with Raw Chef Yin, who's also in the bundle. She's going to be making some bliss balls. And then at 7 o'clock, I'm going live with Sky, and we're going to talk about getting all your nutrients on a raw diet. So, whew,
Oh, that's so exciting. Yeah, the party.
yes,
Well, thank
yes,
you so
totally.
much, Lisa. Again, I adore you. I
Oh,
mean,
thank you. I adore you too. Mm.
and again, you're such a bright light and sunshine in this community. And um, everyone go check this the Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle, which is only available until May 11th, right? And get it, and you would not regret, for sure.
Yes.
You would thank us. You can get it
Mm.
from any of our, YouTube. We have a link on Instagram bio, so go get it as soon as possible. You would thank us.
Yes, yes, yes. I hope everyone enjoys everything. And thank you, Kiko, for joining. I'm excited to talk with you later about your contribution. So that'll be coming soon too.
Yes. Okay.
Mhm.
Well, thank you again, and I'll see you soon.
Yes, I will see you soon. Mwah.
Thank you,
Love
Koala Mama and Vegan Reader and
you.
JJ, for your comments. And I didn't even check the Instagram part, but thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Love you.
Yes, yes, thank you. Love
Bye
you.
bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Oops.